I'm going to call to order the Finance and Human Resource Committee meeting here on Monday, the 18th at 2026 at 4:30. Can we all stand for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We could have roll call, please.
Daniels,
Here.
Ermeling,
Here.
Palmer, Minell,
Here.
Olson,
Here.
Silver.
Here. All right, any public comments in the audience or online? See all trustees and staff. Anybody online?
Please raise your hand.
Okay. Number 4, approval of minutes from our previous finance and HR meeting. Looking for a motion. Motion to approve by Ermeling. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Daniels. On the question, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Acknowledge work product transmittals, number 5. Do we want to do all these individually or together? Anybody have a preference? Individually, you got time? Okay, looking at number 5, the April budget status report. Do we have any questions on the budget report for staff, for Jessica? No questions? Okay, we'll acknowledge all at the end. Number 6, TIF 1 and TIF 2 detail reports for April. Any questions from anybody on those?
No.
But
Now, have you gotten closer to the final number? On TIF 1?
We're just letting that go right now, or we're anticipating the audit being like October, November. So right now we're waiting, and then we're gonna have to call the CDA to order. Because they will need to have a resolution to call the bonds. So that's the process, and that we're probably gonna have done October. Well, the bonds are due October 1st, so we'll probably get the resolution hopefully this summer to get that done. And then we'll reach out to Ellers. They'll write a letter to Associated Trust, notifying them that we are going to be calling the bonds. They will forward it on to DTC. DTC is the organization that officially pays all the bond holders.
Okay.
But no, we're not. We're just gonna let it go. There's no big.
I was just wondering on your final numbers, they still look good and everything.
Yes, we'll be able to pay off the debt.
Okay, that's kind of,
Sorry.
that's kind of the bottom line, but I also wanted to hear what the procedure was how we went about that. So thank you.
Yep.
anything else or just? Okay, looking at number 7, legal details report for April. Any questions? No one? Okay, looking for a motion as it relates to 5, 6, and 7. Motion to
Pass.
acknowledge. Motion to acknowledge by Daniels. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Soper. On the question, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 8, educational presentations and reports. Pam, take it away.
Okay, so I'm here to present the municipal clerk's budget and also tell you a little bit about our office. So up on the slide, or the slide on the screen right now, is our 3 municipal clerks that we have working for you. Myself, Sarah, and both myself and Sarah, we are full-time employees, and Leah is our part-time employee. We came recently requesting to see if we could maybe bring on some part-time people, and thought maybe that would be a nice alternative to a 3rd full-time person. And with the board's approval and committee's approval, we were able to move forward with that. So we have Leah working part-time right now. It works within her schedule very well. And we're looking currently to getting 1 more part-time person on staff. But it's been a nice change to have the part-timers. They seem to like that, and Leah's been doing wonderful. So moving forward, what the role of the clerk is. It is one of the oldest roles in government, and it's also very important. We are the guardians of democracy. When it comes to elections, we keep official records. I don't want to take that from Jess, but official records. And we are also a trusted link between residents and the community. So moving forward on that, the major points that we do, the major activities we do down in the clerk's office is, of course, we have election administration. We do the licensing for the village. We provide customer service to our residents and to anybody who calls the office looking for some assistance, help, direction. There are other activities that we do, which is board review. We put out the newsletter, for the quarterly newsletter. Everybody brings in their articles and then we get it together, get it out to the printer. We put information out on social media to be sure that residents and the community know what's going on. We handle open records requests. And one other little thing that we do, which is kind of big, is we also take in utility payments. Utility payments are a big part of the clerk's office, and I didn't put it up there. I thought about it after the fact, but we get a lot of utility payments by mail or at the front desk. And they're very cyclical. They run a little bit heavier in the second or third week, but it takes a lot of the person. We have our part-time worker doing that, and it takes a lot of her time to enter all those payments in.
You don't have a utility clerk?
She does not enter payments. Utility clerk only does the utility billing, handles all the, changes on addresses, account changes.
I was just kind of checking. And then now I see where you have tax collection and then utility payments. I was surprised the clerk's office actually collects those
If we assist the treasurer's office, we do the tax collection.
through the treasurer's office.
What?
Through the treasurer's office or?
So they do the taking in of the money and we keep track of it, which is a nice segregation of duties. You don't want the same department that bills it, collects it. Also,
You get, clerks to bill them and then the treasurer.
yeah, we do it the opposite here. I fill out the statement of taxes and get all that levy work done for the county treasurer, and then the clerk's office actually takes the money.
It's the same reason why the utility clerk doesn't take the funds.
Right, well, the treasurer used to.
We also, speaking of separating duties, we also down in the clerk's office, like the person at the front counter, the majority of the time goes to the front counter. I count the money in the morning. We have somebody else deposit the checks. Actually, the utility clerk deposits the checks. The other deputy clerk, Sarah, she does all the pulling in funds from what come through from the credit card. She reconciles every morning the funds the money the revenues that came in the day before. So we have a good separation of duties throughout. There's not one person handling money, not one person counting the drawer, and just doing everything.
And when they combined it, that was the issue I had. I was being. Okay, I was just kind of wondering how that worked, so.
Nope, that's fine. That's fine. Questions are always okay. So the first budget overview that I'm going to do is the elections. It's the larger of the budgets for the clerks. The funds, the line items that are usually higher are the wages, the temporary wages. Those are our wages for our election inspectors. Also postage is also quite a high item on our budget for the election, as well as supplies. One thing to note is that those higher line items, they are during an even numbered year like this year, a presidential or gubernatorial election, they're a lot higher versus the odd number of years, because there's a lot less, obviously, election inspectors in those fall elections. They bring in a lot of people, so we need a lot more in our budget for those fall elections. But on those odd years, we redirect those funds to purchase our equipment for the election. We have the Badger books. We've had them, they were purchased brand new back in like 2018 or 2019, and we have 13 of them. So we're slowly trying to purchase new ones. I purchased 4 of them last year, and it was just about $11,000 for 4 of them. So they're pretty pricey. So again, we have 13. So if we do 4 every other year, when we can redirect those funds to purchase those Badger books to keep the elections flowing. That's how we take care of that.
You sold the old ones to smaller.
Yes, we did sell the old ones too.
I was just, curious if any of the other commissioners, if they understand what.
I was gonna say, what's a Badger book?
Yes, that's what I
So
was just.
a Badger book is an electronic poll book. So it looks like a computer, but basically it just houses the poll book. So before the election, I download the poll book on a jump drive. I put it into the Badger book. And then when our voters come in, that's how we find their name. When they give us their name and address, we find it. That's how we have them sign instead of on paper. So that's how we handle that. And it keeps everything flowing very quickly. We can move people in and out pretty quickly. Unless we have a lot of registrations, then that slows it down a little bit, but
Oh, okay, thank you.
because all of that information has to be entered in by hand.
I knew what they were, but I wasn't sure.
Oh, I was gonna ask Dory, I was just.
That's fine. That's fine.
One other question while you brought it up, postage. I was just curious why it went from 6,000 last year to 15,000 this year.
Because of the fall elections. So when we get our absentee requests, so for example, this August election that's coming up, we already have over 700 absentee applications on file for that election. They both need a stamp going out or a stamp coming back, but the one going out is like 2 ounces, so it's a little bit more. So we have to allocate for all of that postage that we have. And we never really know, like in November of the presidential, we had a lot of absentee ballots, so the postage was higher. Will we in this November? I feel like we will. We do our best to get close without going over or being too far under, so.
Do you feel like this new building has made election day go well?
We've had a lot of positive comments. People like the
It feels
flow.
spread out, I don't feel like.
They do like the flow. In the presidential election in 2024, like I said, we did have almost 800 registrations. So we did have less flow because those registrations really, they take time.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when people come up to, give their name and address and be registered, they have to have proof of residency. And sometimes they got to find it on their phone or it delays a little bit. So we're working for this November to not have them out the door because that's how they were for November of 2024. But otherwise, if this August, when people come through, they should flow very, very well, as they did earlier this year.
Gentleman said, gee, I didn't have to go to the gym. I just could come here.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we hear comments about the walk, but
It's better than staying outside.
we always have in-person absentee voting.
Yes.
You can always come into in-person absentees, so,
Or you could do curbside if you really had mobility
Yes.
issues, we would come out to your vehicle.
yep,
And do we do the in-person absentee every election?
yep,
Okay.
2 weeks prior. Okay, you can move on to the next slide. Unless somebody has questions. So speaking of elections, we'll keep going with that. So when we think about elections, we think about election day, but elections really start far before election day. In the spring, it's only 21 days, but in the fall, it's 47 days before. So for example, I was very, very excited to have this break between April and August, but we already will be sending out absentee ballots next month. We will be getting them in, and before the end, it's like the 23rd or somewhere around there. It will be 47 days before. So we have to send out all of those absentee ballots to applications that are on file. So like I said, we have over 700 of them right now. So that day we go, once we get the ballots from the county, it's us standing at the table, packing up over 700 ballots, which is just busy work, but it takes a good portion of time to get all that done, make sure it's correct. There's little things that we have to do that have been added in with the hype of elections. Like now we stamp our absentee ballots absentee, so any ballot that goes out absentee should be stamped. So those little things are all part of our process, but so that's one part of our elections. Another part is we want to give those in nursing home facilities the opportunity to vote as well. So we have our voting in our nursing homes. We do 3 nursing homes in the village. There is some rules that we have to follow in order to go to the nursing homes. You have to have so many applications for an absentee ballot on file. And so we have election inspectors that are designated as SVDs, they're special voting deputies. So they go to the nursing home facilities and perform the voting there. So, and this is all part of thinking about wages too, because those election inspectors get paid for that, so. And then we also have in-person absentee voting. So we have that here, we have that in the boardroom. We utilize our election inspectors to do our in-person absentee voting. It's been very good to do that. It helps free us up in the office so we can keep doing our work instead of us performing it, especially because of like the November presidential election. The first day we had over 600 people come in-person absentee vote. So that would have been a lot for us to get up from our desk, and that would have been all we did all day.
That's
So
why you set up in here.
we have them in here, and we have election inspectors. They're deputized for that period of time that they administer the in-person absentee voting. And then, of course, there's election day, which it all comes to fruition at the end. So we have our election day then. Which, by the way, just taking a jump back to election day, the process to get ready for that is quite big too, because we have to get all the rooms ready. Of course, we have help from other staff here that help us, but the signs, the badger books up, just everything all ready for election day. Takes time. So the next slide here is our poll worker wages. So last year, the county clerk actually sent something out to, a survey out to all of the municipalities in Marathon County, and 52 municipalities responded, providing what they pay for their election inspectors. So our election inspectors, this is not our chief inspector, but our election inspectors, we are average. We pay them $12 an hour. We're about in the middle. It's about what everybody else pays. But our chief inspector, I see we're on the lower end. The chief inspector is responsible for election day. That chief is responsible for the election room, has to write down any issues that happen, has to open, close, has a lot of responsibilities. So I suspect that when our next election term, which is a 2-year term, when that comes around, I will probably try to increase that to $15 to be more in line with the average. And I think just the responsibility that inspector, that chief inspector has that day warrants the extra $2 an hour. So I just wanted to put that out there.
That person applies.
Well, I put it out there for all of our election inspectors. Does anybody want to be a chief? Because the more chiefs we have trained, we can only have one serve, and that person has to be a resident of the municipality. So, and an elector. So, if we have a lot of people trained, that's good. Illness, lots of things could happen where that person might not be able to serve. But I don't get a lot of people that want to serve as a chief. I only have 2 right now.
It's just liability, or why?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just, I don't know. Responsibility?
Yeah.
I mean, she's running around.
Yeah.
All day long. Okay, so then this next slide, kind of yelling, I suppose. This next slide, I just wanted to give a graph to kind of show how many absentee voters we have versus our total votes. So the amount in blue is the total number of voters for each election. I did not include primaries in here. I just included spring and fall, the November election and the April election. So the part in orange is how many absentee ballots we've received. And as you can see, it kind of varies. I wanted to almost say it was like a 30%, but you can see in November of 2024, it's definitely not 30%. But it kind of also gives me an idea when I'm planning for the election. I need to have, enough supplies on hand. I need to have enough postage in the budget to accommodate for all those absentee ballots that might be returned by mail. And granted, some of these in here are in-person absentee voters as well. This is not completely mailed out ballots. But it just kind of represents and shows you a little bit the difference between what we receive. And there's some interesting, when you're looking at that, you look at April of 2023 and April 2024 and April of 2025, and all of them had, I can't think of it, Supreme Court justice on there. But April 2025 just drew people in, and maybe it was because of the local race too. That was a very well, a big turnout. So for an April election. The next slide has just our clerk's budget on there. My arrows are in the wrong spot. I'm sorry. Something happened when I pasted that in and the arrows got in the wrong spot. But I was basically pointing out that the largest part of that budget, which isn't very large, is publication notices, which are, the majority of those are our liquor licensing notices that we have to put, that we're required to put in the paper. With all the different establishments that are applying for liquor licenses. And then, of course, our education, lodging, and conferences that we may attend. The Wisconsin Municipal Clerks Association does a really good job of putting on several conferences a year. So I attend one, Sarah will attend one. We all have an opportunity to attend one because we can't all go together. And I just put that little note on the side there about, did you know? So right before I came here, I've been here for 4 years. There was 4 full-time staff in the clerk's office. And also, in addition to that, there was 2 other staff members that assisted doing things here and there. Now we're down to 3. And since I've been here, a lot of times it's just been 2. But because Sarah and I have done a lot on our own. We did the whole 2024 presidential election on our own, just her and I. And we spent a lot of extra time here. So,
Are you salary?
pardon me?
Are you salary?
I'm salary. I spent the weekend before that election. One day I spent 8 hours and the next day I think I spent 10 hours here.
Thank you.
I mean, I like doing elections a lot, but that was a big election. That was a lot. We were exhausted.
How many elections have you done with us?
Me personally?
Yeah. Did you see a
2.
trend in elections?
Meaning I'm not
Like that
understanding.
weekend, like you said, it was the last presidential election in 2024. That was.
I've never been here for any other presidential
Okay.
election other than that one.
Okay. That's
But
was my question.
I was at a prior municipality before this for the 2020 election, and that was a real banner turnout too.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to point out the licensing. So licensing obviously is a big part also of our what we do in our office. We have 51 total liquor licenses. Those are bars, restaurants, convenience stores. We have the various other licenses below that. The cigarettes, tobacco, and vaping kind of tie into that. Some don't, but weights and measures as well as pretty big. So my deputy clerk, Sarah, she starts this in February or March. She's got to send out a packet of information to all of the establishments. There's a lot of paperwork involved with liquor licensing and cigarette and tobacco licensing that's required by the state. So she sends it out early enough. We still have to do a little bit of hand holding, but we do get a really good response well prior to the date that it needs to be turned in. So you probably have seen those on the board have seen those coming through in April and May. There's a lot of paperwork, a lot of making sure that it's all completed properly. So she's pretty much inundated with that for those months prior to the liquor licenses expiring on June 30th. And in addition to all of that, she's working on the bartender license because we get many bartender licenses that we just run through our office. We do the background checks. We make sure that if there's something that needs to be rehabilitated in order to give a liquor license or a bartender license to, we take care of that. So there's a lot when it comes to licensing. That's a big part of it.
You seeing any reduction with the village bartender licenses now that you can get a statewide or not really?
Statewide licenses are like $200. So ours are 40, 45. So if, unless you work at 3-4 bars, it's, you know, it's
Is
not
that per
really
year
worth
for the
it.
state one? for $200?
Pardon me?
Is that $200 a year?
I can't remember if it's a year or every other year. We don't have many people that do it.
Okay, well, for
You'd have to work at more than one bar.
the
for
cost
sure.
difference, yeah.
In different municipalities.
It can, I mean, yeah, because if you get a license in Weston, it's for any establishment in Weston. So you would obviously be working in Wausau, Schofield, Rothschild, you know, a bunch of different ones where you don't want to pay those fees to the various municipalities. So I guess I wouldn't know of any, you know, because they don't come in and tell us. They do that on the Department of Revenue's website. But we get a lot of bartender licenses. So I would suspect that.
Not get many
Yeah.
state.
And they should know about it because it is on their renewal forms. So tax collection, again, we assist with the treasurer's office collecting taxes. I was really surprised at these numbers when I put the slide together. So 84% of our tax collection is done in the clerk's office by walk-ins or the counter. So that $22 million number is all done between roughly December 15th and January 31st, because December 5th, it's like the last 2 weeks of December. So that's a lot. That's a lot. We're proud, we're happy to do it. We do it very willingly. I believe we do a very good job at it. But I just, when I put this slide together, I couldn't believe that number, how much we take in. And a lot of those big escrow checks that come from,
What's the other way you can pay?
well, the banks, they can pay at the
Okay.
bank.
So I think that's fine.
So
Alright.
that part, we don't do that. Finance takes care of the bank,
Okay,
the ones that come
transfers.
through the bank. But the majority comes through, or, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yes, son.
Yeah, yes, credit card, some pay by credit card.
Oh, sure.
Yep,
So people are mailing in a check.
lots of people mail in a check, lots. Same with utility payments, lots of people mail in checks. Yeah,
Or put them in the Dropbox.
or put them in the Dropbox, but far more mail them. Okay, so moving on to pet licensing. Pet licensing begins around December 1st and it continues through the following year. So I wanted to point out that for the 12 years prior to 2025, pet licensing was done through Pet Data. It was a third party that was based out of Texas that took in the pet licensing, worked fine. We were paying about $54.95 was how much we paid in 24 for Pet Data to take in our pet licensing. So I decided that I wanted to bring it back in-house along with Jamie. She kind of helped me work through that. We brought it back in-house. It's been working pretty good. We have bumps and bruises once in a while, but it's been working really well. So in 2026 here through March 31st, we collected do I have 17,000? Oh, I thought that was million for a minute. 17,000, only we wish. $17,480. That includes cats. So dogs are, you have to, it's a state law to license your dogs. So we do that and pay part of those fees to Marathon County. But the cats, that's part of our ordinance and we keep those funds. So out of that 17,480, we paid 9,413 to the county and we retained $8,000 of that, 8,067. So with the revenues that we make off pet licensing, I wanted to note that per the statute, we're not able to collect revenue in excess of how much it is to, for our licensing, for our regulating, impounding. So those monies that we collect for pet licensing, we help, with the licensing. It's not like we're trying to collect more money to fund the dog park or do something. I mean, it would be nice, but pursuant to Wisconsin stats, we can't do that. So we pay those funds out with our rabies clinic, which we just started up. We did our second year of the rabies clinic this year. We have that non-dog stray contract through Mountain Bay Metro, which helps with the stray cats. And then we also have Mountain Bay Metro with our community safety officers and our TDNR program. So that probably is a good portion of what we'll collect. We'll get more in June because Mountain Bay, the CSOs will help collect some more from a lot of pets that aren't licensed yet. There's a lot. There is a lot.
What was I had this question, I couldn't answer it because I questioned it. Raise the price of neutered animal dog. It went from, what was it, to $20. That was quite a.
We had to increase it. I mean, it was up to the board to make the decision to increase it, but we were contacted by Marathon County because they pay about $100,000 to the Humane Society every year.
Which is not a county department.
It is not, it's not associated with Marathon County.
It's not associated.
So they were only collecting like $65,000 from the municipalities, so they were under budget on that. They were short. So they were raising the fees that they were charging to the municipalities. So they suggested that we take it to our boards and councils, et cetera, to see if we could get that increase to help. Otherwise, we would have had to absorb that. So that's why I brought it forward.
Because I know different people that just said, they weren't gonna do it.
But what we have to remember too, I'm being an advocate for pet licensing, but when people come in to license their pets, they're assuring that they have rabies vaccinations. And there are those out there. I mean, there's a lot of people that have the rabies vaccination who maybe don't come in and license, but there are some out there that don't have the rabies vaccination. And if that pet would bite somebody or bite another dog, I mean, if they bite a person, the treatment for that is very, very expensive.
And I believe I don't know about Wausau, but in Weston, the veterinary notify, don't they, when?
If you have a pet and it is not licensed and it doesn't have its rabies vaccination and it bites someone, there's a state statute along with that where they get quarantined. I think they have to be checked 3 times. You have to pay a fee. I don't remember all the details of it, but
I know several years ago, I know I had gotten a new dog and I took it to the vet. And I got a notice from the licensing thing that I had a pet. I mean, it wasn't old enough to license yet, but I had taken it in for its rabies and the whatever. And that kind of surprised me because I thought, oh, okay, I wonder if that is just a common.
it can, some vets do provide municipalities with reports of the pets that come in to be vaccinated.
That was.
Some
company,
vets
they
don't do that.
sent me things saying, and I thought, well, okay, I did one.
Yeah.
She was 6 months old or whatever it was supposed to be.
But again, I don't want to, I'm not trying to be an advocate for pet licensing, but $20 is a really small fee to just ensure the safety of your community.
Yeah, but I was, different ones that asked me because it was a fairly good jump and I even kind of went, wow.
Yeah, it would have been, I think it was $8. Was it 8 or was it $10? $10. Yep.
Double.
The non-dog strays, is that anything other than cats? I'm not taking.
Yep, rabbits, mice. We've had mice picked up.
Guinea pigs.
Yeah, last year we had eight mice on the list that were picked up.
They were adopted.
Oh, they were?
And what did each of those mice, I don't even wanna know what each of those mice cost us to sit there. Yeah.
170.
No, I had.
That was $175 per mouse.
Really?
It was picked up off the road? Or like-
Somebody, I think somebody must have taken them in, found them and taken them into the Humane Society.
That's
Were they
wild.
pet mice or wild mice?
They were brown.
They had to be pet mice because one was featured several times on their Facebook page because they kept it at the front counter for several weeks. It was very friendly.
Another topic for another day, but I know other municipalities with similar contracts with them, it has to be brought in by law enforcement to build the municipalities. And so maybe that's something we could also look at, because $200 for a mouse,
A gray one.
So.
I don't care what color the mouse is.
Before the merging of police departments, we had a separate non-dog stray contract. And yes, that did say in that contract that residents could bring it in, but since we've merged,
It has to be an officer will bring it in.
Because then that provides that discretionary, on behalf of the municipality.
yeah,
Mice
Yeah.
and let them go in the field?
there's some people out there that would probably be sad about that.
Well,
They have a free life.
$200
For a little bit.
for.
Okay, so the next slide, I just put this up as information about our newsletter. So the clerk's office also is the one who, as I stated before, who gathers all the articles, gets them ready to be sent off to to Proof or Sun Printing, whatever their name is now, to do the putting together of our newsletter and getting it ready to be sent out to residents. So I just put on the top that we have 5,089 postal patrons. The 2,032 address list count, that would be anybody who is, so like the postal patrons, if you have a section that's joined with Schofield, part of it is Weston, part Schofield, those addresses have to be extracted and we put those on a spreadsheet. So those 2,032 are, somebody who might be in the route that is in Schofield or Ringgold or Cronenwetter. So those are on a separate list, but the cost down there on the bottom, the postage of 9,000, the outside printing of 20,000. That's how much it costs to produce the 4 issues of the Wire. Get them all ready and sent out, but it's a good way to get information out to the public and residents like it. So
Do you bid that out at all, or do you coordinate it with any of the other communities as far as bidding out the printing? I'm just curious.
I don't know. It's always with Sun Printing, and honestly, that's why I just kept it there. We kind of wanted it to bring it back in-house, which would help save some money, but we haven't had a staff member that could do that yet. We're still hopeful, but yeah, I
What does
don't know. I've
Rothschild
never
do?
thought about that.
What does Rothschild do with their?
I don't know what Rothschild does. I used to work at Schofield and they sent theirs to Sun Printing, but I can ask.
I'm just
I
curious.
certainly can do that.
I mean, if you coordinated, is there some discounts that get done if you're?
Schofield only does theirs twice a year.
Oh, okay.
There's some other options other too, like I worked for a municipality that, so a lot of people don't like social media, but there was a ability to sign up for the newsletter to have it emailed to you on a periodic basis. And there was a cost associated with this software program that did that. It was an online web-based one, but it was a significant cost savings, obviously, from printing them. So I mean, it kind of was a middle of the road thing. Some people don't want to go on social media and they're never going to go see it there. But if you email it to them, they're more likely to open it and look at it and not be as upset that they won't get the physical copy. But yeah, that's a lot on postage. It was one of the things I wrote down. I'm like, holy cow.
Well, we can
We
do
actually
that.
tried it. That's
Did
why
you?
it's called the Wire. Get it? The Wire.
Okay.
So we originally tried that and we did not mail them out for a few years and it was requested that we bring it back. That's why we have mailing of newsletters right now.
So, and we could, I mean, our software allows, our web software allows for the emailing of the Wire, but to separate those addresses of who doesn't want it. Yeah, you'd have, if you separated it and didn't do it all one way, you would have to figure out those addresses that didn't, and then you'd probably have to make a big spreadsheet of that.
Yeah.
So that might take a lot of staff time doing that too.
And remember, we do a weekly e-newsletter.
Yeah.
I mean, every Thursday we send out an e-newsletter to anyone that subscribes. I think we have like 1,500 on that.
And only half of them get opened up.
Yeah, so I mean, we do try to, I think we're the only municipality in Marathon County that does a weekly.
Yeah, I think it was, when you look at it, that's just a big number, you know, you
Yeah.
should think about it like,
It
oh my
is.
gosh, like, I read it every time it comes, but is that worth $30,000?
It is, and we've tried to cut it down, make it less pages, because you have to have a minimum of pages, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gets costly.
I know we've cut it back and then people weren't happy
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
that.
we experimented a lot with
Yeah.
that because of the cost, but. And obviously, our community's getting older and some of the people that required paper may not be here anymore, so it's just something the board maybe wants to reach out and try again. That was a while ago. I don't remember how many years ago. Does
Quite a
anyone
few.
remember? Michael, do you remember? When we didn't have the,
Oh gee, that was
I remember.
a while. I think it was.
That was probably like 2017-ish, 16,
Before that, I thought.
Before that, even.
was it?
14-ish. I know we had a very tight budget in 2012, so maybe it was closer to
Yeah,
that
probably
too.
that.
Cause I know we did try different
We
things.
tried really hard.
Change is hard.
It is.
Well, then the residents really came back and said they really wanted it. I like the recycling part.
Mm.
To me, that's the only one you have to send out.
And the recycling is different. The brochure we send about.
I know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a different budget.
You were featured in the last wire.
Being a celebrity, because you're in.
Yeah.
You signed it?
Draft copy.
People go, do I know you?
So the last slide here before any questions, is just stating that behind every great community are clerks who care. So I wanted to make 3 points about our clerk's office. We are the first point of contact. So I'm very proud of our clerk's office. We have very positive people in our clerk's office. We take many phone calls. Sometimes people aren't real happy. But our department handles them very well. It takes a lot to get us ever to be upset. We do get upset, but not to people, because sometimes people are not very nice, as everybody knows. But we are the first point of contact. So remembering everything that I just told you about, the elections, the licensing, all the tax collection, throughout all of those jobs that we do, we're answering phones and we're going to the front counter. So my next bullet point there is that clerks can multitask, or I recently read in the book that we're accustomed to being distracted. And that's the truth, because you can be in the middle of a project and the phone rings and you're done. You gotta answer the phone, you gotta go up to the front. And sometimes it happens repeatedly. So we're distracted quite often. And when we're working through those projects that we have, through those tasks that we have to be available also to answer questions from the public or take their payments or what have you. The last bullet point I have is clerks have teamwork. And again, that goes along with what our tasks are downstairs. We can't all be gone at the same time. We try not to have 2 people gone at the same time. Of course, right now we only have 2.5 people, but so we have to work with each other. If Sarah's really inundated with licensing, to verbalize that, I'm really inundated, can you catch the phones? If I'm gonna go on vacation, I have to work with my team because they need to know I'm gonna be gone, because then they have to work their lunch hours around it. So we have a lot of good teamwork downstairs. We work real well together through all those difficult, or I shouldn't say difficult, but just stressful times, tax collection, those big elections, those can be very stressful. There's a lot of, with election, there's they're very heightened in this day and age. So making sure everything is done correctly. We do all that, working together and also dealing with phones, dealing with the front counter. So then just have any more questions? I'm available for questions.
I just wanna, you do a very good job. I always said that the clerk's office needs to have very thick hides. Because you put up with the public and you still gotta smile and it's not always easy. But no, I think you do a very good job.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Pam? Thank you, Pam, for putting that together for us. No old business, no new business. Any remarks from staff? Being a lot of head shakes. None from staff, okay?
Not really a question, but did the farmer's market go well? Over there, or has been going well?
Yeah, Renee is here if you wanted to, but yes.
Put her on the spot.
The question was, has the farmer's market been going well?
Yeah, I've been there the last 3 Saturdays for about 6 to 7 hours, and then 6 AM and helping the vendors, situated, finding, they're out of the proper way to go in and out
Yeah.
and, there's, a lot of, it's been nice. Tuesdays has been a little,
Yeah.
cool and windy. My last Tuesday, some of the vendors had to leave because of just running their, plants and some of their tents and stuff, but, there's been a lot of people, there's been a lot of lines of the food trucks. We, have some coffee vendors and new food trucks and some craft people and we just kind of expanded our horizon to try to touch some other things. The produce people will start coming. I have a few that have greenhouses that have a few things, but probably mid to end of June, they'll have their produce and stuff. So I'm trying to fill those spots with some craft vendors and things like that. So we're full.
Yeah, we've had lettuce, radishes, rhubarb, spices, and lots of plants.
Yeah, but I have a couple greenhouses. I'm in a greenhouse, another person after that, grow all their plants and flowers and.
You have something to say?
I asked one of the vendor or the festivals, they were very happy. Very happy. They were happy of the setup and location. I talked to them a few minutes and I drilled them, tell me about this and that. So I think staff did a great job. They started at 6 o'clock in the morning. When the vendor showed up, everything was set up for them practically. And it went very good. They were happy.
Anything else, Stefan?
No, it was happening the other day, so I was like, oh, I was curious about parking and how all that went, because there's tons of it.
I think there'll be, a work in progress, when you go to some of the other parks, baseball's parking on lawns and stuff like that.
Or-
We do try, but they did paint the lines there, and, there's some parking in Newport and all this, and is it gonna be perfect? No. I mean, it was kind of crazy over at our other place too, trying to get out on Phillips and Schofield happening too, so. We just try to take the feedback. I try to talk to everybody I can. I'm talking to all different kinds of customers and trying to, adjust things as I can that's feasible.
I work with a neighboring farmer's market, and you're way more organized than they are, so. I'll keep that up.
Evan, anything?
Oh, yeah, I will be stepping down from the committee, so this is my last meeting. My wife and I were moving away, unfortunately, from Weston, still in the Metro Wausau area, but I did appreciate my time in this committee. I enjoyed working with all of you, so I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Barb?
Just was Renee was here, I was concerned with the farmer's market in that the parking on both sides of the street on Alderson, there is really going down.
It's not parking on
One side on
both
Alderson.
One side? Well, somebody was parking wrong then because they were on both sides of the street and I went through and I was like, okay, goodness,
Yeah, the east side is still signed no parking, but the west side is, we allowed parking on now.
Okay, and what about, or what is that street?
Yeah, Newport, we've never restricted parking.
I
I guess if you went through there last year during a baseball tournament or there's a
Yeah.
couple of houses there that have garage sales, people would park on both sides of the road. Um, Again, I guess it's what people are used to. But Newport has had people parking on both sides of the road since we reconstructed it in 2012.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's difficult.
it can be.
I'm just wondering if there's something, like I said, I went down Allison that one day and, but what the heck, you know? There was a couple cars that were, you know, on the other side.
Mountain Bay must be monitoring it too, because they were at the market on Saturday, so whether they're driving through or they park for a moment of time. They've also have been
I just think
there.
in the neighborhood in general, like the last 3 weeks, there's been track meets and baseball games. And you go on both sides of Normandy, Mock, Miller, Jelinek, El Segundo, Monterey, Everest, McIntyre, the whole parking lot, it's crazy between track and baseball and yet football. It's just, you know, even like the Green Egg Turner, that's always full and.
Yes. Yes. Okay, that was, I guess, the only thing that I've heard is the people complaining about the, you know, the traffic and the parking. That it's dangerous. And I think, wow, we're not even into the full season yet.
Has everyone been to the market here?
I drove through the traffic. I noticed it was
Yeah.
congested pretty bad. I was like, uh-oh. And I also noticed all the dead grass from the cars driving on it and
I
stuff.
was just there on Sunday and the grass wasn't dead.
I'm just, I live on Ollerson, so it's just a,
Yeah.
casual observation. I drive by it 2-3 times a day, so.
We had all that nice rain on Sunday morning and I was kind of like, whoo, that made everything really green fast.
But I think is our first home tournament this weekend? 2 weekends?
The first baseball tournament is, I
That'll
think,
be a good, like,
the end
all
of
of those.
They
June.
had a baseball tournament on May 9th.
Oh, they did, okay.
Yep, and then the next one will be June 20th.
And hopefully it just gets busier, right? And it alleviates maybe some of the concession. Cause then we'll just go to the food trucks
And it
and,
was a smaller tournament on the 9th, but yeah, they still had the
Yeah.
ribbon cutting and kickoff.
yeah.
And that was a kickoff weekend. It's not necessarily a tournament.
Yeah, but there was a bunch of teams and yeah.
It's a hopping place, which is good.
I said that day was great because I ate my way from one side of Kennedy Park all the way to the other.
Anything else, Steve?
No comments.
The only remark I had is I wrote a note down here that said open spot. I guess I have to say open spots now. If anybody knows anybody that has interest in this committee, please, reach out to them, reach out to one of us. I know we have some other committees that have even more open spots, so we're definitely looking for citizens that want to participate. Future items, next meeting date is Monday, June 15th at 4:30. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Steve,
Second.
second by, we'll let Soper do it.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, on the question and discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.